Hey there everybody, PTPOP here with all four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back. Welcome back to another episode of Call Center Survivor. Today I'm going to talk about how call centers are not about customer service. You guys in the corporate world have designed your companies in such a way that it's all about this. Getting your money, getting your yachts, getting your jets, getting your leather mistress, and going off with some whore to a tropical island. It's not about me. It's not about the old guy down the street who's eating Thanksgiving dinner at McDonald's. It's about your goddamn bank accounts. This really pisses me off because it's not about customer service. Call centers are not about customer service. This lady lives in a dream world.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?
If you'd like to support this channel and continue to see quality programming such as this, I'd like to ask you to purchase and support me through the purchase of my products, my creative products. I'm an author. I'm an author of several books. Here's my author page on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, this is my book, Press One for Murder. And it's a great read. I wrote this a couple years ago, and it's basically about a guy named Jeremy who works in a call center. And some of his customers are turning up dead. He works in a call center for a small local bank. And the police think he's killing off his customers, but there's a twist in the story. Get it on Amazon, buy it now. Oh, forever hold your peace. If you don't buy this book, you'll be condemned to working in call centers till the day you die. Today, I'm going to be going over a video where a woman by the name of Salina Gardina speaks on Tedx about customer service. She specifically speaks about defining time for human connection in customer service. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but we're going to take it apart piece by piece and see what she has to say.
I want you to think about a room of first graders. And a question you would ask a room of first graders: how many of you want to grow up and be customer service representatives? Exactly. 0. More likely, if you ask a group of first graders this question, they may answer with something to the effect of, I would like to be able to do things to help people. I would like to be in a role where I have purpose. I want to grow up and I want people that I can work with and I can support them.
Now, wait a minute. Okay. So, first graders are going to say all that? When I was in first grade, my only concerns were Saturday morning cartoons and my bowl of Cheerios. You know, I had no comprehension of what I wanted to be when I grew up. I found a recent diary entry from 4th grade that I was going to be a fighter pilot or a fireman. You know, those are a bit loftier than working in customer service. So I don't know what planet this lady lives on.
This is what I want to be able to do. See, those two scenarios are not very different.
See, I can't stand this lady. I'm sorry. I can't stand her Pollyanna. She's so corporate. And when I say corporate people speak a certain way. They carry themselves a certain way. They try to bullshit you. They're just consummate bullshit artists.
About the age of 13, I started to show some traits in customer service. 2 things started to take shape in my life: technology and customer service. These 2 things were so important.
Now, this story she's going to tell, I had a paper route too. And I delivered papers in a small apartment complex my parents lived in when I was in 3rd and 4th grade. And maybe I just wasn't the sharpest kid or the sharpest tool in the box at the time, but I didn't give a shit about the customers because I was horrified of anybody opening the door and talking to me in 3rd grade. I just was very shy and timid, and I would just put the paper down and get out of the apartment building as quickly as I could so nobody would talk to me. She went through this whole process as a kid on how to place the papers and all this stuff.
Now, I'll tell you why. Because when I was 13, I had, just like a lot of children that age, a paper route. And it was really important when I delivered those papers that the headline was facing the customer's door when they opened it.
Do you think she thought of that on her own? I bet you not. I bet you whoever trained her about that route or an adult said, place the papers like that. But she's using it for the sake of the story to make herself sound customer service oriented.
It was really important for me on days that it was raining that the newspaper would stay dry. And then...
Well, I mean, you can only do so much. If it's raining, there's no place to put the paper to keep it dry. You've got to either put it, anyway.
And I will tell you that fast forward a few years, and I was the first one in my family to go to college. And I got that business degree, and I remember thinking, I am going to go out and make a difference in this world. I am going to do something incredible.
I thought that too. I got my degree, and they brainwash you. They make you think that anything's possible. If you have a degree, you can go out in the world and knock the world down. You can do anything, and it's not true. I don't know what, I obviously have a different set of skills than I thought I had because I'm more of an artistic person and I wasn't true to myself. But the last thing in the world you think you're going to do is end up working in a call center.
I'm not sure what, but it's going to be big. So one day I took a call from an elderly gentleman and
Okay, so this is the story that is meant to pull at your heartstrings. And I'm sorry, I'll tell you, I spent one Thanksgiving and I had dinner in McDonald's because my wife and she stayed in Ohio. I moved to Arizona. She stayed in Ohio to wrap things up in Ohio. I moved to Arizona until she could move out there and wrap up her job. And I had McDonald's in northern Arizona. I had Thanksgiving dinner in a McDonald's in northern Arizona, sitting next to two cops that said gang enforcement task group or something, gang task group or something. So I'm sitting there waiting for the Mexican drug cartel to come storming into this McDonald's. But I had an okay time. I had my quarter pounder, or I had my cheeseburger and fries and a Coke, and I went on about my day. It wasn't as depressing. But anyway, she's going to talk about this man who's an elderly. She talks to on the phone, and he has to spend a Thanksgiving day in McDonald's.
Worked at a quick service restaurant, and he said, I'd like to know if the restaurant near my home would be open on the upcoming Thursday. So in those days, we hung up the phone. I got on my directory. I found the phone number of the restaurant. I called the restaurant. I talked to the store manager. I got the hours. I hung up the phone. I picked up the phone. I called the customer, and I relayed those particular hours to him.
And this is why she decided to stay in customer service.
For the customer. But now I want to take you back a little bit to that story that I told you. Why did I stay in customer service? Sometimes when I tell this story, it chokes me up a little bit, but when I got back on the phone with that elderly gentleman...
Oh, it chokes her up. Oh. I'm so choked up.
And I said, here's the hours of operation on that Thursday. I was proud. So the elderly gentleman said to me very quietly and a little bit of sadness in his voice, and he said, this is where I'm going to be eating on Thanksgiving.
Heart touching. Poor old man. He's lucky he's got food, probably. I mean, that's not a bad place to have a Thanksgiving dinner.
And we politely ended the call. See, someone told me once, if something moves your heart, then a problem turns into a human.
A problem turns into a human.
Are you crazy?
I mean, see, number one, this is really what gets my goat, and I don't have a goat. What gets my goat is you have no idea, number one, if the story is true. Number two, that guy could have been feeding her a line of crap as wide as the Nile, and she has no idea. She just took him for his face value, what he said. You have no idea where this guy's going to be on Thanksgiving Day. And why would you call a telephone number to find out what the hours are of a McDonald's? Most people live within 2 miles of a McDonald's. You can just drive by and see what their hours are going to be or if they're going to be open. I don't know.
I stayed in customer service because I love technology and I started to love human beings. And I realized...
She started to love human beings? Oh my God.
It's getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
I don't know, man. I used to be the same way. I used to want to help people. I wanted to go into customer service because I wanted to help people. And I wanted to be there for people. I wanted to hold their hand. And when I first got into customer service in that little tiny call center, that's exactly what it was. I was helping people. But it's not like that now. And technology has destroyed it, and companies have gotten too big and too greedy.
A recent CEO a few months ago said the most profound thing, and I loved it. And what he said was, customers are in a need state of convenience. They're in a need state of convenience.
Anybody even know what she's talking about? A need state. Some CEO sitting up there in some leather chair, drinking brandy out of a snifter, says this? Now let's think about that. What does that mean? What is she saying? Because I love to take these corporate people and analyze their words. This is why I couldn't stand working in the corporate world. Because they come up with these fucking bullshit phrases that are just 10-cent phrases that are just meant to confuse and make people think they're getting something for their money when they're getting nothing but a big pile of stinky, fly-ridden bullshit. What does this even mean?
They're in a need state of convenience.
They're in a need state of convenience. Okay.
So that means...
This is what it means, basis of what Mr. CEO says.
Ease, transparency.
Ease, transparency. A need state of convenience means needs, transparency, ease, transparency. Well, we do want it easy. We want it to be transparent. Transparent meaning, I guess, that they don't know you're struggling. You've only had 2 days of training and things like that.
Convenience.
Convenience.
That's what customers are in a need state. It's not a nice to have. It's now a need state.
No. This is such bullshit. I'm tired of these people. This is when I'm so sick of this corporate world. I'm tired of it because this is what we want when we call into customer service. We want somebody that speaks English, somebody that knows what they're talking about, and they're friendly, and they can get us our information and get us on and off the phone as fast as possible and be friendly. I just want to call somebody who doesn't sound like they just got out of training and have their thumb straight up their ass. And you guys in the corporate world have designed your companies in such a way that it's all about this. Getting your money, getting your yachts, getting your jets, getting your leather mistress, and going off with some whore to a tropical island. It's not about me. It's not about the old guy down the street who's eating Thanksgiving dinner at McDonald's. It's about your goddamn bank accounts. This really pisses me off because it's not about customer service. Call centers are not about customer service. This lady lives in a dream world. She lives in a freaking dream world. I don't know what world she lives in where you can sit down and give ease and convenience to a customer when you got a goddamn Nazi supervisor standing behind you with a riding crop in hand saying, "Go quicker! Go quicker! Quicker! You must go quicker or you'll go to the cooler. We'll fire you. We're going to fire you." God damn this lady.
But you know what I can't tell you? I can't tell you why that gentleman was eating alone on Thanksgiving. And I should have known to send him a handwritten note, call the store manager, have him spend a few minutes on Thanksgiving with him. Or better yet, I could have spent a few minutes with him. That's never happened to me again because I have changed my heart. I love this statement, offer kindness without conditions.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. You can see the 1,000-mile stare in her eyes, man. She lives in a different planet than the rest of us. I'm sorry to personally attack this lady, but business-wise, corporations, as I said, are so massive. They have so many customers, and it's so expensive to run a call center. There's no time in the budget to put the human factor into it.
See, This is where we should be going.
But it's not. And so what kind of executive is this lady? This is not where the world is headed. The world is headed towards away from the human touch and more towards technology. And everything's becoming run and driven. Call centers are run by bots now. So what the hell is she talking about?
Evolved on the technology side, and I love that, and I've been part of it, and it makes me so happy to use.
I'm so happy there's technology. Woo! Boy, she's probably fun at parties, huh?
These devices and to see this advancement. But what I don't see is this connection. And I want to see that desperately.
You're never going to see it. Not now. It's too late. You live in a fantasy world. You live in the 1990s in your head, hon. These call centers, this one at Verizon I worked at was massive. It was a 1,500-man call center. It was a 1 million square foot building, and they didn't give a shit about any of us. If you want the human connection, Miss, what the hell is her name? Salina Gardina, listen to me. If you want the human connection with the customers, you better start tickling the nipples of the people that are answering the phones in your call centers and treating them like goddamn human beings instead of machines. If you want the human connections, you're going to have to steer away from technology and make it more about human to human connection instead of hooking people up to machines when they call in on the phones. You got auto attendants and bots, and you got chat people. It's the most cold, sterile, unfeeling, uncaring environment in the world. And Miss Salina Gardina, you live in a fantasy world. There is not a single CEO in the world that's going to approve longer talk times, to be empathetic and caring with the customer, especially that are trying to save money in this economy and trying to cut costs by installing computers to answer the phone instead of live human beings. So technology is taking over, hon. And computers, last I checked, don't give a shit about you and me.
Why do I remember that call from 20 years ago? Because
you live in a fantasy world.
I don't even know where that man is today, but I want to know the story.
He probably got ran over by a car in the McDonald's parking lot after he had his Big Mac.
And after that call, with every customer I connected with, I started to know the story. And I started to teach people around me and when I was a leader, to also learn the story. But this is our defining moment, folks. This is it in customer service. We are at an inflection point, and it's staring us right in the face.
Staring us right in the face?
Are you crazy?
What? Look at her. I mean, she really believes what she's talking about. I mean, I worked in business long enough to know that these people at the top don't give a shit about the customer. They don't. It's a fantasy. It's all hyperbole and just bullshit that they throw at the people, that the customer's always right. It's just bullshit. And it's just, this infuriates me that she thinks that somehow they're going to bridge the gap between technology and humanness. It's going completely towards away from the humanness.
Now, there are 3 million customer service representatives in this country right now. 3 million. These are brave frontline people that answer.
That are treated like shit by people like you at the top who don't give a shit about them as employees. And you expect me to sit down and put on a goddamn headset and care about the person calling in when you got me by the balls, you got me by the short hairs, you're paying me no money, with no benefits, with constantly threatening my job unless I perform. After 2 days to 2 weeks of training, jump in the lake, honey.
So these folks are hardworking, frontline folks, and if you train them and you elevate them, you will see a difference. So
train them and elevate them? Are you listening to the buzzwords she's throwing at you? Elevate me? Treat me like a goddamn human. Is that what elevate me is? Let me keep my job. Let me make mistakes and learn from my mistakes and go on without threatening my job every day. God damn these corporate people.
Conservatively, they're doing 200 million contacts a day in this country. A day. Now imagine if we trained these folks for some of the skill I showed you recently. And imagine what your experiences would be like. Could we change the customer service feeling in this country if we did that? And I know we can, because I have driven this transformation with companies. I work with leaders now, and the reason why they connect with me to help them is because we heard.
They connect with you because you live in the same fantasy world they all do. Look, I'm not going to play any more of this. I've had it with this lady. I got to tell you this. I'm just like, I woke up in a bad mood today, and this lady put me in a worse
Are you
mood.
crazy?
And I've been there. I started off 20 years ago caring, but by the time I left my last call center job and somebody called me up whining and complaining because somebody just died and their dog got hit by a truck and, you know, I don't know, a tree fell on their house and killed their pigeon, their pet pigeon or whatever, I didn't care. I had to get off the phone. How do I get off the phone to get to the next customer? Oh my God. I'm at 6 minutes. I'm at 7 minutes. And then it's like that. It's like constant. This lady is so out of touch. And it's so impossible to achieve this because it's all about the bottom line. It's all about the money. That's what it's about. It's not about the customers. And if you're a consumer here in the United States, an American, and you know what it's like to be treated by these people in the call centers, it's not because they're mean people that answer the phones. It's because they're stressed, they're unhappy, they're miserable, they're poorly trained, and you're expecting a human connection with all that? Give me more training as a customer service rep. Get me some supervisors who are truly good at being empathetic themselves towards their employees. Seriously. I mean, I can't have that. And if you don't have that, you're never going to make this human connection between man and machine. It will not happen. Because the people up here, like you, that run this, are blind. You are blind. You have no comprehension what most of these people are going through. Maybe this lady does because she allegedly worked in a call center. She says she did, so I guess it's the truth. It's just, I just can't even begin to tell you what bullshit this video is. Do you really think these CEOs and the people that come up with the products that we buy are sitting back on their yacht with their mistress going, oh, I wonder how the customers are doing today. I wonder if they're being treated well in our call centers. I wonder, well, these guys don't care about us. They don't care about you at all. Did the CEO of Verizon send you flowers when your mother died? No, they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about anything but their money and the property they own and playing golf. And that sounds stereotypical, but it's true. They own and they run everything. They own all the politicians. They own all the land. They own everything. They run everything. A corporate person probably made this mug. Mug NIV. They make a cool mug, but I can't wash it in the dishwasher or microwave it. So I'm probably being poisoned by some weird glaze, some alien glaze. Companies are so massive that they don't have time, nor do they care about the customer. If they did, they would make these call centers places you'd want to work. They'd make these call centers. You could easily make these call centers places people didn't want to leave. It's a pretty cushy job if people just get the fuck off your ass. These supervisors just get off your ass and let you do your job. They won't. Because all the people at the top are talking down to the people that are above you in the call center chair, telling them to go. More numbers, quicker, off and on and off the phone as fast as possible. We're losing money. We're losing money. We're losing money. It never ends, man.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?